This is a Bailey Unicorn Barcelona. Going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. In front of the van, you've got the hitch, jockey wheel and handbrake. We'll take you through these in person here on site. On the side of the van, you've got a storage locker, which is known as a wet storage locker. You'll also find in there your leg winding bar, as you can see. On this side of the van and on the opposite side of the van in the same place, you've got your two wind down legs to stabilise the Caravan. They are literally there for stabilising, not lifting the Caravan. If you lifted the Caravan with these, it could actually potentially damage the floor of the van. On this side of the van also, you've got your water pump connection or your water pickup pipe. So you very simply push the pump or the pickup pipe into the side of the van and use the cap here to lock it in place. You see this little catch here at the top, it'll actually lock in. The pickup pipe itself drops down inside the ack roll and the pump is inside of the Caravan. Heating and hot water flue on the side of the van is there to essentially allow the hot air out the side of the heating unit, the water heater unit, and also the gas exhaust essentially for the side of the van. You don't need to do anything with it, but you don't ever cover it up either. When the Caravan is in use, it does create quite a bit of heat. The side locker of the van, you've got the gas bottle tie downs, so you can carry a maximum of 2 6-kilogram propane gas bottles at any one time. And then on the side of the bulkhead, on the side of the van as well, you have the gas regulator. The gas pipe work is available here on site should you need it. You've then got your wheels and motor mover. The wheel nuts will be torqued before the Caravan leaves site, so you can see they've been tightened correctly, and also we'll demonstrate the motor mover so you can see that works as it should. The fresh water that goes in the front of the Caravan has to come out somewhere, and down the side of the van you have your two grey waste pipes, and your two grey pipes go into the larger diameter holes that you see here on these two grey fittings, and they drop down inside your waste master. At the back of the Caravan you have your toilet flush tank, so you put 3.5 litres of water in here and a cap full of the pink fluid prior to use. Then in the bottom you have your toilet waste cassette, which you release by pulling up the orange handle and pulling the cassette towards you. The neck here turns out so you can tip the waste away, and you've got a measure here for your pink and your blue fluid. On the back of the cassette, the orange button that you send back is a pressure relief button, so when you're tipping the waste away it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. On the rear of the Caravan, on either side, again you have your wind down legs. You've got one this side and you've also got one on that side as well. And like I said, they are just there for stabilising, not lifting the Caravan. At the back of the van, on this side, you have a storage locker to access the storage underneath the beds. And then you have your battery locker with your two terminals on top. We put a battery on here just to demonstrate the motor mover while you're here on site. This will get removed prior to the van leaving site. And then you've got your motor mover, your mains power lead coming into the side of the van with your motor mover main power switch behind the mains lead. You've then got your two fridge vents on the side of the van. They are essentially there to allow hot air out the back of the fridge unit and to take some cool air in. Behind one of those there'll also be a gas flue for when you're running the fridge on gas. On this side of the van at the bottom, you've got a 3-pin socket, so you can have power coming out to your awning if you wish to, or power lights or outside fridge if you want to. Wet storage locker on the front left hand side of the van, again that is there so you can put bits and pieces in if they are damp. And then you've got your barbecue gas point at the front also. You need to get one of the Bailey type connectors that pushes in and turns and locks into place. Go on to the inside of the Caravan now. On the left hand side, as you walk in the door, you've got your master power switch for the Caravan. You've got your water pump, which I'll come back to in a moment, your internal lighting, and your awning light. And you've got your internal lights and your awning light. You have got some options in the control panel, which for these, sorry about the screen, do advise for these that you go through the manual for the Caravan. You've got internal room temperature on here as well, and your battery voltage for the onboard battery, and your screen that informs you of the time. Top left hand corner, you've got an indicator here to say whether you've got mains power coming into the Caravan or not. Another way of testing to see whether you've got mains power coming in when you set up on site is coming into this little locker on the left hand side floor. What you'll find in here is your 240 trip switches, a test switch for your 240 volts, so when I press this button the 240 system will shut itself off, as you can see, because the trip switch has gone down. If there was no power coming into the Caravan, that trip switch wouldn't actually trip. So essentially it would just stay where it is when I hit the test switch without tripping. But if it does trip, it means you have got power coming into the Caravan. Down the bottom, you've got your 12-volt fuses, and there is a mark at the bottom of these telling you what each one is for. The first thing we're going to need to do is fill the water system up on board the Caravan. So we're first of all going to go underneath the seat on the front right-hand side of the Caravan. And in here you'll see a yellow valve. That yellow valve, before you fill the system, actually needs to be parallel with the floor. That valve was upright and pointing towards the bottom of the seat. All of the water, when you turned on the water pump, would actually drain back out underneath the Caravan. So like I said, valve parallel with the floor prior to filling the system. Essentially, when you finish with the Caravan each time, you'd open that valve up and allow all of the water out of the system. So if it did ever freeze, it doesn't freeze the water system on board the van and crack the pipework on board also. Once you've got that valve parallel with the floor, you're going to open each tap up on the hot side. Now you'll notice I've already filled the water system. However, normally when you first turn it on, you'd have no water running out the taps. So the pump's on and the water system is filling. Once you've got all the taps open on the hot side, you're going to come over to the water pump here. As you can see, water pump off, so now the water's going to slow down and almost stop completely, or will do in a second. And as soon as I turn the water pump on, we have water flowing through the Caravan. So like I said, when the Caravan's empty, you'll need to fill the system up by making sure the valve is parallel with the floor underneath the seat and upright to drain the system down when you're done with the Caravan. But as you can see, it does take a few moments to get the water pressure back up. So in a moment that will start running continuously. We'll come back to that in a moment. So as you can see, we now have water running out of the tap continuously. What we're going to do is we're going to shut each tap back off. At this point we can start warming the water on board the Caravan and also heating the heating system up on board the van. So on this control panel by the door, at the moment the screen is actually on, but it will also bring up all of the icons when it is turned on. Hit the store reset button and it will take you into the options for the heating and hot water. Now at the moment you've got on or off as an option here. So we're going to select on. So what that essentially means is that now we can turn the heating and hot water on. We're going to come across to the right when that on symbol is flashing, and then we can select the internal room temperature for the Caravan. So we've got plus or minus to select the heat inside of the Caravan that the radiators are going to produce. If we come across to the right again, you've got the option to turn your heating and your hot water on. So the tap symbol essentially means your hot water. You've either got on or off on your hot water system. If we come across to the right again, we've got the option to run gas. Now at the moment it's saying gas is turned on. There is no gas bottle on the van. So to ignite the gas system, you'd simply make sure the gas was turned on. I'd always advise first that you ignite the hob to get the gas through to the last point on the gas system, and then come over to the screen and select on for your gas. It will self-ignite. If it fails to ignite, it will actually come up with gas fail on the screen just here. So that's your option for running gas for the heating and hot water. It is only relevant to the heating and hot water system, nothing else on board the van. We come across to the right again, and we've got the option of how much power we have coming into the Caravan from the site we're on. And this is on the 240 watt side. So your mains power essentially. You've got the option of 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. Now depending on what site you're on, each site may be different, so I do advise you ask the site office when you arrive on your holiday. They will be able to advise you of what power source you can run your heating and hot water on. Obviously the higher you run your heating on or your hot water systems on, the more efficient it will be and will work. If you're off grid, you can have it set to off and then just turn your gas on to heat the heating and hot water systems as you need to. You will also need to make sure before you heat up any systems on board the van that this switch just down here is also turned on. That will essentially allow power to the heating and hot water system. And you will also now notice, now I've turned that on, we've got a plug symbol in the top right hand corner to let us know we have got power going to the heating and hot water unit itself. So that is how to fill the system, your heat and your heating and hot water. Next up we're going to go to the fridge on board the Caravan. The microwave is pretty self-explanatory, so we're not going to go through there, but we do advise that when you're travelling, you need to remove the microwave plate from inside the microwave. The hob itself, just quickly going to go through these before we go to the fridge. Hob and the gas grill all work very much like your household appliances, so your 240 electric ring will work off the 240 supply, and also the gas will work off the gas on board the Caravan. Inside the fridge, very easy to use control panel. You've got power on to the fridge. You've then got your mains 240 supply, so if you want to use it off 240 volt, you can select the plug symbol here on the end. You can control the temperature of the fridge on gas or mains on this button on the right hand side. And if you want to control the freezer temperature, you can also press the button here. Press the button, and then it will bring up the icons as it has done here and make the freezer icon go blue. You can then control the freezer compartment again on gas or electric. Gas option, very simple. Gas turned on, again you'd ignite the hob first to get the gas through to the last point on the gas system. The fridge then will self-ignite. If it fails to ignite, like it will do in a moment, it'll actually flash the flame symbol here, and it'll also flash the red warning light on the right hand side to let you know it has failed to ignite. If you need to reset it once you've got the gas through the system, press and hold the warning button on the right hand side for 5 seconds and it will start the igniting process again. When you're travelling down the road, you can use the fridge as a cool box. However, you need to have a car connected to the Caravan first. So we haven't got that at the moment. So what you're actually going to notice is it'll actually start flashing at me a bit like when the gas fails. So once you're connected to the car and you want to use the fridge as a cool box, get the beer and wine nice and cold, come inside the Caravan. You can have the main control panel inside the door turned off. Turn the fridge on, then select the 12 volt option. And like I said, that will start operating as a fridge. Underneath the bed, you'll notice you've got your motor mover control box, and you've also got your table for the front of the Caravan. Last thing we go through on this particular van is the toilet system in the bathroom. Very simple to use, electric flush. Press the button and the toilet will flush. You have a red indicator light just up here that will illuminate red when the toilet waste cassette is completely full. The toilet seat itself turns for your convenience, so that when you're using the loo, you're not cramped in the corner. So like I said, it does move. However, when you're removing the toilet cassette from underneath the van, you need to make sure it's back in the central position as it is now. Below the toilet, you have your grey waste handle. This is to allow the waste into the toilet cassette under the van. If you don't have that open when you use the loo, then the waste will just sit in the bowl, and as it's not like a household toilet where it's got water in it, you'd actually then need to probably clean the bowl manually. But you'd open up the flap, and when you're done, press the flush button, and that will allow the waste into the cassette under the van. Once you're done, shut the grey flap back up, as if that grey flap isn't shut, it'll again stop you from removing the cassette from under the van. If you have any further questions on the Bailey Unicorn Barcelona, please don't hesitate to give us a call here at the Caravan Company, and we'll be more than happy to help. We appreciate the business, and we look forward to seeing you here on site soon when you collect your Caravan. Thank you for now. Bye bye.